The Dream Factory was founded in 1980 in response to a news story about a Philadelphia policeman who was raising funds to make dreams come true for sick children in his community. As word spread about our organization, more chapters were formed, primarily in the Midwest. Today, there are almost 40 active chapters located in more than 20 states. One of the core values of the Dream Factory is volunteerism, and for 30 years we have operated as an all-volunteer organization, using the time and talents of individuals in communities where chapters are located to grant the dreams of local children. There are three basic differences between the Dream Factory and other wish-granting organizations: the medical criteria, the manpower, and the money. The Dream Factory grants dreams for critically and chronically ill children ages 3 through 18 in communities where chapters are located. The Dream Factory remains an all-volunteer organization at the chapter level, with a small staff of 4 at our national headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky. And finally, 90% of the money that is raised in a community stays in that community. The Dream Factory is committed to being the premier wish-granting organization of choice. To do this, an influx of funding, volunteers, and eligible dream recipients is required. None of this can occur in a vacuum. That's why a well-thought-out roadmap is not only desirable but necessary for the growth and stability of the organization. Currently, we have a long-range planning committee working to create meaningful and measurable goals for the organization over the next 5 to 10 years. They are: to maintain financial stability by growing gross revenues by at least 5% each year through an integrated, diverse resource development program, and to increase the delivery of program services by increasing the number of dreams fulfilled. To grow and maintain effective marketing and public relations programs, building long-lasting alliances within the healthcare and business communities we serve. To maintain an efficient and dedicated all-volunteer human resource base to enable and drive the corporation's mission and strategic plan. To maintain and efficiently use information technology enablers. And to maintain a high level of organizational effectiveness. The Dream Factory has long-term goals that are currently in the planning process, and each of these goals has accompanying strategies and initiatives. In order to maintain financial stability, strategies have been drafted, including the establishment of an effective planned giving and endowment program, a modification of the grant writing focus to support operating revenues for national headquarters, and the identification of new sources of income to provide at least $100,000 annually to our operating budget. In order to grow and maintain effective marketing and public relations programs and build long-lasting alliances in the communities we serve, strategies have been drafted that include the achievement of a 4-star Charity Navigator rating and an acceptable Better Business Bureau rating, the development of a core marketing presentation in addition to a cause-related marketing campaign, the leverage of existing chapter sponsorships to increase the base of corporate sponsors to the national organization, and the modification of the Dream Factory's Executive Committee and Board of Directors to include highly influential officers of existing and new corporate sponsors. In order to maintain an efficient and dedicated all-volunteer human resource base to enable and drive the corporation's mission and strategic plan, we intend to provide development and contribution opportunities at the national level to leverage the talents at the chapter level, to engage former Dream children to act as ambassadors and representatives in support of our strategies, and design unique recognition programs to honor significant contributions. In order to provide the necessary information technology infrastructure and support to achieve the goals of our long-term strategy, we intend to redesign and implement improvements to the current website, to solicit input for website redesign, to enroll a project coordinator to complete redesign, and to analyze and project the resources and support required to effectively manage the new information technology platform and future long-range needs. One of our techniques to ensure organizational effectiveness is the composition of the National Board of Directors. Since the Dream Factory was founded in 1980, Every chapter in good standing holds a seat on the board. This self-governance by the chapters has nurtured a sense of ownership among the volunteers engaged in our efforts across the country. Another aspect of the Dream Factory that increases our effectiveness is the way the chapter funding has always been handled. With the exception of the dues assessed to each chapter, the funds raised by a chapter stay in the community of origin to be used for local children. The Dream Factory Board of Directors has always measured success based on the number of dreams granted by the organization as a whole. We strive to grant a dream each day of the year using our network of dedicated volunteers in communities across the country. Another measurement of success is the number of active chapters in good standing. This means they complete a specified minimum number of dreams annually, and their monthly and annual reports are submitted in a timely fashion. And finally, the financial stability of the organization is another gauge by which we measure our success. This is assessed by our ability or inability to increase our revenue stream and productivity on an annual basis. A perception widely held by the public is that a child must have a terminal illness in order to apply to a wish-granting organization. The Dream Factory is the only national organization that grants dreams for children with chronic illnesses as well as those with critical illnesses. Because of this expanded medical criteria, we receive inquiries from across the country on a daily basis from parents who have contacted other organizations only to be turned away. Unfortunately, we are not able to accept applications from most of these families because our services are limited to locations where our chapters exist. Fortunately, there are always new chapters being formed. Looking at the big picture, our major accomplishment is the creation and maintenance of a strong network of chapters operated exclusively by volunteers for the past 30 years. These individuals are as inspirational as the children whose dreams are granted. Their efforts are motivated by a passion for the organization, not by a paycheck. And let's not forget the major reason that the Dream Factory exists: granting dreams. Our volunteers do an outstanding job of taking the simplest dream request from a child and making it into a life-changing event. 5-year-old twins who shared a passion for the Old West spent a week with their family in Wyoming, experiencing how real-life cowboys live and work. A teenage girl with profound physical challenges said she loved the TV show Survivor, so her local chapter sent her and her family to the series finale, where she met the cast. A young man from the Dominican Republic who was separated from his family for a year while he received medical treatment in the United States was able to spend Christmas with his family when they were flown up to see him. And what do you do when a young girl asks to pet a cheetah? Dream Factory volunteers arranged for her and her friends to spend the day and night at a major metropolitan zoo, working with zoo employees and interacting with real cheetahs. Each day we ask ourselves, how do we top this? And then we get to work doing just that. In addition to inadequate funding, locating and retaining volunteers to operate our chapters is one of our greatest challenges. Chapters are generally initiated and maintained by 1 or 2 dedicated individuals who have the time and commitment to coordinate all of the volunteers and activities necessary to operate a chapter. When that individual's life circumstances change, there have been instances where no one steps up to the plate to carry on the work of the chapter, and it closes. Another challenge is our limited ability to provide the oversight and supervision of almost 40 satellite locations across the country. Coupled with the fact that these individuals are volunteers, not employees, the possibility of noncompliance and other risks is magnified. Additional resources would allow the Dream Factory to increase services at the national level. We could train and supervise individuals in existing chapters in order to maximize their fundraising efforts, to grant more dreams to eligible children, and to recruit and retain new volunteers. Funding for a Dream Bank would allow staff at national headquarters to grant dreams for eligible children in areas not currently served by one of our chapters on a case-by-case basis. At the present time, there are almost 40 chapters of the Dream Factory in 20 states. Because we're the only national wish-granting organization that grants dreams for chronically ill children as well as for those with critical illnesses, the ability to start new chapters in areas not currently offering services to chronically ill children would be a tremendous benefit to them and their families across the country.